And in usual Fujimoto fashion, Chainsaw Man begins to pick up its pace again in the story as the battle between Chainsaw Man and Fake Saw Man ends a little bit unceremoniously. However, I will say, with all of the symbolism and everything that we talked about in the last couple of videos, definitely go check them out if you haven't already. It makes a lot of sense why this battle needed to happen. Denji needed to overcome the things that he used to be as a hero. He needed to overcome his whole only saving women. He needed to overcome his inability to attack people that may 1 minute love him, hate him the next, which quite literally is exactly what happens in this chapter, by the way. Denji was painstakingly going through this battle with a devil who was way weaker than he was, because he wanted to save the people that were inside and was worried about what would happen to them. After realizing that he probably doesn't have a choice in the matter and he just needs to continue on this life and the path that he's currently going, he decides to say, screw it, dude, you're weak, I will let you live, which is honestly proof that Denji still has a good heart. Despite the fact that he is at the, following Yoru and what she wants to do right now, he is still hesitant to just outright murder people. He gives the Fake Saw Man an out, which the Fake Saw Man does not take. Denji cuts this man's head off, slices him in half, and thankfully, it does end up being like a video game, much to Denji's prior fear that some of the people would get destroyed if Fake Saw Man died. And even though like a good 90% of the people were able to survive and carry on, he did end up outright destroying one of them, which I'm pretty sure that was the guy that was stuck inside Fake Saw Man. Hey guys, real quick, if you want to support the channel, make sure you go down to gamersubs.gg/noop and get 10% off your nootropics and energy supplement fix, and we'll get back to the video. One thing that is nice to know about in this chapter is that both Yoru and Denji have significantly powered up since the Aging Devil arc, and since everything that has gone on in part 2, because now not only is Yoru able to make weapons that aren't, deemed someone else's property immediately, that are strong enough to take on a primal fear of the Falling Devil's level, at least according to her standards. She believes that she can beat the Falling Devil now. That might not be the truth, it might just be overconfidence. However, again, just based off of Denji finding Fake Saw Man weak as well, it stands to reason that these two characters, after going through their growth, have leveled up a large amount. Which, considering this is going to be the final arc of the series, or whatever kind of transition phase is leading up to the final arc of part 2, these characters needed that kind of power up. And with Denji just one-shotting, two-shotting technically Fake Saw Man, and if we cut back and Yoru is actually able to defeat the Falling Devil, who knows how much stronger that makes the Death Devil. But the very last big portion of this chapter, and what is the most exciting thing about it, which is probably going to lead into, again, another big story beat for the next couple of chapters, is the appearance of the Fire Devil. This devil that has been pulling the strings with Fami and the Death Devil for the longest time in the background. This character and this enigma that we never really saw. The devil that was powered up by all of the binding contracts made in the Chainsaw Man Church. The Fire Devil is a primal fear devil, and it is powered up by, I believe, over like 300,000 people making contracts with it. So just like Yoru, who just made a very similar level contract to make and summon the Gun Goddess, who she probably still has most of that power manifested within, this is another big deal. Now, Denji doesn't really bat an eye at this. Denji goes, all right, well, I guess you want to go ahead and fight too. But the Fire Devil says, no, actually, I don't. The Fire Devil is clearly a very cold and calculating entity. We already know that the primal fears are beings that have lived for all of life since the beginning of existence. They are devils that have never been killed and had to leave or return to hell. So just like the Aging Devil, just like the Falling Devil and the Darkness Devil before, all of these beings have very unique outlooks on life. They are almost similar to any immortal would that has lived over thousands of years. Their philosophy, the lessons and experiences that they've gained over these countless years of life have shaped them into people that are just either impossible to understand or, frankly, very easy to understand. The Darkness Devil was all smoke. He didn't even say any words. It was death. I'm going to kill everything in front of me. Whereas both the Falling and Aging Devil had very interesting personalities that separated them from all other devils. The aging devil wanted to actually die. He had learned everything he possibly could about existence, as well as being the symbol of aging and the fear of growing past your youth. The aging devil already understood life. He saw what happens to humans every single possible step of the way. And remember, most of these devils were around before the original Chainsaw Man devoured a lot of these older devils as well. The other 4 stages of human life besides death, all of these different things that existed, right? The fire devil does not want to fight. The fire devil says, you know what? I've simply got a question for you. And this leads into one of the most devious cliffhangers I think I've ever seen Fujimoto pull off, and I've seen some devious cliffhangers from this man. Not only does this chapter literally end halfway through, right? Because he asks the question and he says, I was inside of this person this entire time. Someone that was a part of Fake Saw Man. The Fire Devil just wants to ask if Denji remembers who this person is. And at that point, the chapter ends. Who this person could be? Who does the Fire Devil want Denji to remember? Genuinely, it could be anybody. It could be something as simple as one of the students from the Devil Hunters Club that was a full-on Chainsaw Man fanatic. It could be something heinous and just awful to see that would just make fans just detrimentally upset. If it was someone like Kishibe, or if it was someone that we had love for. We do get a specific gender pronoun, so I know a lot of people are going to theorize it could be actually Nayuta, it could be Rize, it could be all of these different situations that I don't believe the Fire Devil would misgender, right? I've seen a lot of people even mention that it could be Denji's dad. And to be honest with you, for this to have a big payoff, that also requires us to be in the ending portion of the Fujimoto cycle. Because remember, with this being as devious of a cliffhanger as it is, we could go to next chapter and it could be just some random civilian, and then the Fire Devil could go into some big philosophy about how Denji doesn't remember any of the people that he kills, and why would the Fire Devil also remember shit, you know, Denji, you are a devil, not a human, come to our side, something, who knows, right? This could go multiple different ways, and that's just the beauty of Fujimoto's unpredictability, to me, in my honest opinion, because while this could be some significant character development story beat for Denji with a character that he didn't want to kill or is sad to see again or brings up terrible trauma, or it could just be something very simple. With Chainsaw Man, we never know. But I do know that I'll be here every chapter talking about this series, because once again, now that we are past this small little scuffle between Chainsaw Man and Fake Saw Man, and we have finally gotten a face to the Fire Devil, a character that we weren't ever sure if we were ever even going to see, I'm excited to see what Fujimoto is going to bring to the table, even if it is something that is underwhelming or something that is some of the craziest in-depth lore we've gotten. Honestly, as long as Fujimoto just keeps throwing me for a loop, I'm in for it every second of the way. And guys, I hope you are too. I hope you're enjoying the series. Hit that like button if you do like these Chainsaw Man reviews, and most importantly, subscribe, because it lets you make sure you don't miss any other videos, and YouTube apparently likes that for some reason. So everyone, I'll see you guys in the next one. It is a break week, but don't worry, we'll have some content for you, I'm sure. And if you read any other series, feel free to check them out. Peace, 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 peace.